How's it going, everybody? I'm back with beverage-based shenanigans. The last beverage-based shenanigans were those of tea. If you've seen that video, fantastic. If you haven't, it should be available somewhere. I was trying different ways to flavor up tea. I tried a couple of different things like chicken broth and taco seasoning and that sort of stuff. Go watch the video. But there's another warm beverage that I don't think anyone's experimented with, coffee. As far as I'm aware. Maybe somebody has and I'm just not familiar with it. Maybe there's a very enterprising Starbucks employee out there who's like, wait a second, I've tried everything there is to try with coffee. And if that's the case, they need to make a video about it because I didn't see it. So we're going to do part 2, the coffeening, where we just try a whole bunch of new stuff with coffee. Now, there are going to be some people. There are going to be some people who are like, why are you sweetening your coffee? It's perfect the way it is. Black coffee is how you drink it. To those people I say, I'm a giant wuss and I need sweetener in my coffee. So we have things like protein powder. Can you use protein powder to sweeten your coffee? It's kind of like chocolate milk, but not. And it gives you that protein boost in the morning. What about hot chocolate mix? That's also similar to a mocha, but sort of not. Marshmallows. You put marshmallows in hot chocolate to sweeten up the already sweetened beverage that is hot chocolate. So why not coffee? Why not just use the marshmallow as the sweetener in the coffee? Cinnamon. Everyone's done pumpkin spice. I'm actually going to try that as well. I've made my own pumpkin spice mix. But what about just pure cinnamon? Cinnamon plus a little bit of milk. It's kind of like horchata. Put that in your coffee. I bet you that's pretty good. I should just make horchata. Whenever somebody makes a coffee creamer, they always make it sweet. Nobody has ever made savory coffee. Until today. We're gonna make barbecue coffee. I made a brown sugar based barbecue mix that we're going to use as a coffee creamer, not sweetener, because we're not sweetening it. We're savorying it. We've also got a couple of other savory options, like the sweet and salty approach, kind of like a trail mix thing. You got the beans of the coffee, and then we're gonna do a little bit of salt and a little bit of sugar. We've also got chicken broth for our savory options. That one was mostly just based on the fact that chicken and bean burritos are pretty good. So maybe chicken and bean beverages are also good. We're also gonna make some breakfast coffee, which is just orange juice. I don't think I should add eggs. That seems like a bad idea. I don't know, maybe I could add eggs. Has anyone ever tried mixing both of the hot beverages? Maybe we can do tea and coffee in the same mug. So we've got a big old spread of all of my different creamers, for lack of a better term. I'm gonna be putting some almond milk, some unsweetened, very important almond milk, into these different shot glasses, and then mixing in those different flavor profiles into there. And then we'll just dump it into some coffee. Which ones are good? Which ones are not? Who knows? We certainly will at the end of this. So I think I may have forgotten to pre-make a pot of coffee. The brewer is over there. I think it's just slightly out of frame. It will make contributions to the conversation. All right, so let's just start making our creamers while we're waiting. I have these written down because there's no way in hell I was gonna keep these all straight in my brain. Protein powder. We're gonna start with the protein powder. Obviously, I'm not gonna put an entire scoop of protein powder in 1 cup of coffee. That's ridiculous, because that is a lot of protein powder if I put the entire thing in there. But what we can do is just get a small spoonful. So we just need to get just enough to get the flavor, right? Because you want to make sure you get the flavor of the protein powder, so it's not just, oh, it's vaguely different than regular coffee. Where should I put this when I'm done with it? Well, it's just powder, so if I just... Perfect, problem solved. Geez, that's full. I threw that spoon away preemptively, didn't I? I need that thing. Whoopsies! We're just gonna use a new spoon because we're savages. Ooh, that's chonky. Has anyone ever noticed the protein powder really does not like dissolving? It does not go quietly. Hopefully, the combination of the liquid and then the heat of the coffee will help to dissolve those. Either that or we're gonna have some chunk coffee. What's the next one? Hot chocolate mix. which also has a tendency to get a little clumpy, but not as clumpy as protein powders. Again, this is just sweetener, creamer at this point. Oh my gosh, this is impossible to mix. I don't, no. Oh, what have I done? Oh, beans. Okay, hi, yes, no, don't you do. Don't you do the do. I'm watching you. We're gonna leave that as okay. It's still kind of chunky like the protein powder. It's not bad. And again, the heat of that and the increased stirring capacity of the mug should be okay. Marshmallow. This one's pretty easy, except for the fact that I don't actually have any marshmallows. What I do have is a bit of a meringue, which is basically a marshmallow because it's spun sugar with a couple of other ingredients. Hopefully we'll be able to stir that in a bit, because right now it's a little bit solid. It's just a solid chunk of, oh, this has fun colors. I like that. It looks like the milk after you finish Lucky Charms. Blue, which is not a color milk is supposed to be. Oh, this is delightful. I want this every morning. I am having a good time. Can I just put food coloring in my milk just so that whenever I use it, it's a random fun color? Is that a thing that adults do? Because it might be a thing that this adult does. It is dissolving, but it's taking some time, so we're gonna let it sit and we'll kind of stir it while we're preparing other things. Stop farting. Next we have cinnamon. Just regular old cinnamon. Just take up your cinnamon. You try not to inhale it because you'll die. And then you just whoop and boop. And there we go, done. That's the cinnamon. That was so straightforward. That is not mixed at all. The spoon doesn't fit to mix it. I've made a problem. Aha! You may be too thin for the spoon, tall shot glass, but you cannot escape the wrath of chopsticks. Sucker! Dissolve, damn you! Oh wait, cinnamon is non-soluble. Oh, I've made a mistake. As with many of these, we'll just have to kind of hope that the natural properties of heat in the coffee... Are you done? The natural heat properties of the coffee will disperse the cinnamon throughout, because if there's just a layer of cinnamon sitting on top of the coffee, that's going to be a problem. It's time for pumpkin spice, which I think is this one. I didn't label these, but I think this one is pumpkin spice. It's pumpkin spice. So if you're opening up a jar of spices, don't stick your face directly in the jar and inhale as hard as you can. Doesn't matter what's in there, it's gonna coat the inside of your face with some powdery nonsense that you don't want to be a part of. Oh, you're so clumpy. Clump less. It's not working. Screw it, that's good enough. I will rely on the same property as I'm relying for everything else. Heat dispersal. The coffee is done. It has stopped gurgling. Thank you, coffee pot. You are my friend. What's next? Barbecue. Barbecue seasoning. Now, like I said, this is brown sugar based, so it has a sweet component to it. That is not to say, however, that it is sweet, because it is very, very much not. There's a lot of like chili powder and salt and that sort of shite in here. But fortunately for me, I didn't have a second half to that sentence, actually. This is not fortunate for me, this is terrible for me. Just a spoonful of barbecue helps the coffee taste weird. It's time for our trail mix concoction. Sweet and salty. This is regular table sugar and regular table salt. We need some of our plant juice. This is not liquid cow. This is liquid nut. Let's not use that, actually. Orange juice. Okay, I hear you. The other advantage of using almond-based products right now is I'm about 70% sure that if you pour citrus into milk, it will curdle it. But since this is technically not dairy, it should be fine. So the next one is the chicken broth. Now this is gonna be interesting. There's particulates floating in that. Can I like just individual spoonfuls until it's good? No, this is gonna take 4 years. That looks remarkably similar to the salt and sugar one. I it's got a chickeny tinge to it. That's good enough. Okay, the last one is tea. And unfortunately, we have to do kind of the same thing with the teaspoon. This is unsweetened black tea. So just black tea, steeped for 5 minutes because I followed the directions this time like a good boy. I have been notorious in the past for forgetting tea bags and then wondering why the tea tastes awful. And then I realized that it's been steeping for 6 hours. So that's why it tastes awful. It's time for the main event. Begone! I have to get trivet or else my table will burn and that would suck. First up is Mr. Protein Powder. What a surprise, it smells like coffee. It tastes like coffee with nothing in it. It's extremely underwhelming. I was really expecting this to not taste great, or at least to taste like protein powder, but it kind of just tastes like coffee that has had a passing acquaintance with protein powder. You know what it tastes like? Coffee did the same thing that LaCroix does with fruits. You know how when you drink LaCroix, it tastes kind of like it has had a vague interaction with a mango, but doesn't actually have mango in it? This is kind of like coffee has had a vague interaction with protein powder. And that might just be the proportion of the protein powder. Hold on. I'm gonna make this taste like protein powder. We're gonna keep adding protein powder until this freaking tastes like protein powder. More protein. Gotta get those gains, bro. Protein and caffeine. Two things that are really good for you, right? There we go, now I can taste it. It takes quite a bit of protein powder to get the taste, but it doesn't taste bad. So if you're looking for another way to get your protein powder in you in the morning, and you drink coffee, actually might be a viable solution. Well, we need this cup. So I guess we're just gonna put this coffee in there. Next up is the hot chocolate mix. Probably is just gonna taste like a cafe mocha. Like this might legit be how they make cafe mocha, and I'm just a moron who didn't know that. Yeah, that just tastes like cafe mocha, which is to say it's delicious but not surprising. Add it to the pile. Because if I drink this entire pot of coffee right now, I'm gonna die later. Next is Lucky Charms, aka the meringue, aka I really want to just drink this. Oh, I wonder if it'll make the coffee fun colors. I want that to happen. Do you turn the coffee fun colors? I don't know if that can be classified as fun. Kind of a sludgy green. It's a non-coffee color, so I guess that's technically what I wanted. Bon appetit. Tastes like coffee that's had a little bit of milk put into it and no sweetener whatsoever. Oh wait. No, it's got a little bit of a sweetness to it. Not much though. The color was really the fun part of that. There wasn't much sweetness happening. So, viable sweetener, but like all of these are going to be somewhat viable because they've got milk in them. Really what I'm interested in is the other bits. So this is just the cinnamon and milk. Okay, that one is surprising. I definitely taste the cinnamon, but because there's no sugar, it's really bitter. You'd think I would have learned this lesson with the tea. Because I have cinnamon, which is bitter and weird, and coffee, which is inherently bitter. It tastes like cinnamon coffee, but what it does not taste like is like sweetened cinnamon coffee. So it's very, wow, that's not wholly unpleasant, but not the worst in the world. Oh crap, and there's cinnamon residue in the bottom of this. I'm gonna wash this, hold on. This was a bad idea. I am gonna be sick. When I drink the chicken coffee, it will make me throw up in a garbage can. Alright, this is pumpkin spice. Now, again, this does not have sugar in it, so I'm guessing it's gonna do pretty much the same thing as the cinnamon, but maybe worse. Okay. I've never had coffee that's gritty before. I It has like little sandy particulates that I can feel like sliding over my teeth. I've never had to chew coffee. Also, it doesn't taste like coffee. The other flavors overpowered it so much that I don't taste the coffee in this at all. I just taste the other shit. Well, that's interesting. I don't recommend that one. Maybe if it had slightly less of those and slightly more sugar, it would have been better, but as it stands, let's do some barbecue. It's time for some savory ass coffee. Kids, don't do this at home. Adults, don't do this at home. I was gonna say this is what Hellfire tastes like, but like, mostly it just tastes like barbecue that's too concentrated. Garlic, chili powder, cayenne pepper. Those are the three major food groups I'm tasting right now. Yeah, I think I'm good. Time for the next one, what was this one? Oh, yes, it looks like milk, but it's lying. Sweet and salty, and also bitter. We want to add some sour in there. Just get as many flavors as we possibly can. Sweet and sour and salty and bitter. Let's do some sour. You know what, screw it. We have lemon juice right here. Don't ask why. Caffeinated terribleness. Wow, that curdled fast. Tastes mostly like awful. Oh my gosh. I definitely get the notes of the salty, and of the sour, and of the bitter. I got none of the sweet. That was the one that I really wanted, and that's the one that's missing. Oh, wow, that was really gross. Nope, we're done. That's good, we're done. That's what I imagine coffee tastes like if you've been leaving it left on the counter for like a week and a half. So if you're trying to quit drinking coffee, that's a fantastic creamer to start putting in it because it will make you never want to drink coffee again. Orange juice time. It's not bad. It's not good. It's not bad. Weirdly, it tastes like weak versions of both of the substances in it. It tastes like weak orange juice and weak coffee. So it's just diluted both of them without strengthening either of them. I want to try sweetening this one. I know that's not been what we've been doing so far, but this one I genuinely want to see if I can make viable. See? There we go. Yeah, no, that worked. That makes the orange taste more orangey and the coffee taste more coffee. I give it a solid 6.5 out of 10. Maybe a 7. Let's go with 7. That's a solid 7 out of 10. The barbecue I would rate as a negative 49 out of 10. This is the last savory one. Thank goodness. It's chicken broth. I'm regretting this decision. Remember when I was all optimistic early on in this video? Flashback to when I was like, nobody has ever made savory coffee. Until today. Here we are. Well, it's not, good, but it just tastes like soup that's missing a few ingredients. I feel like if you used coffee as an ingredient in a chicken soup, that might actually work. It adds a bit of a subtext, shall we say, to the chicken flavor. Last but not least, would you like coffee or tea? I'll have both. Why? Because breakfast was meant to be an adventure. And I don't have time to make decisions about tea and coffee, so I'm gonna do all of it. That tasted pretty good. What? That wasn't disgusting. That was actually pretty decent. It tastes like both at the same time. That is truly remarkable. I was not expecting to end this particular experiment on a pleasant note. But it turns out that black tea and coffee actually works. It's cold, because at this point that coffee's been sitting out for like an hour, but it tastes pretty good. I give that a solid 8.5, maybe even a 9 out of 10. Pretty good coffee. I'm shocked, honestly, of how successful this was. Starting from the beginning, protein powder worked pretty good, actually. You need to add a decent amount of protein powder before it's even noticeable, which, depending on how much you like protein powder, may actually be a good thing. A chocolate mix, delicious. Marshmallows, you're gonna need add a lot of marshmallows before it makes a noticeable difference. But it was pretty good. Cinnamon, add sugar. Pumpkin spice, add lots of sugar. Barbecue, throw it away. Salt and sugar and lemon juice, only if you want to throw up. Orange juice, surprisingly good. Surprisingly good, especially if you sweeten it a little bit. That one I would drink again. Chicken, tastes like soup that needs soup in it. And tea, pretty good actually. Just black tea, no sweetener, that worked. Now, I know what you're thinking, but dude, you have this vat of coffee. Are you just gonna throw it away? And the answer is yes. But I do have a straw. And this is coffee that has all of the previously discussed stuff in it. Do I want to do this? No. Does the very thought of it make me kind of, a little bit. But who would I be if I didn't try this? This is the worst idea. Awesome. Yeah, great. The biggest flavors were the two worst ones. The lemon and the salt mixed with the barbecue to make just awful. I need to drink something, get that out of my mouth. Oh my, go away. Oh, it tastes like burning, but at least it doesn't taste like that. That was unpleasant. Don't do that, whatever it was. This mixture of like a pot of coffee and all of this garbage. No, just no on that one. So far, I think I can conclude. 1, savory coffee, not good. 2, be creative with your creamers. And hot chocolate's delicious regardless of what it's mixed with. And thus concludes this culinary adventure. If you like culinary adventures or adventures into insanity, full stop, come hang out with me on Twitch. I stream every Monday and Friday from about noon to 5 Eastern Standard Time. I don't just play games, I usually am in just chatting for at least an hour or so before I start playing any games. So just talking about random stuff. I wrote a big long article about boiling an egg last week with the help of the chat. It was a really good time. So if that seems like your cup of coffee, come hang out. It's been a good time. I'm gonna be doing stuff similar to this. Not exactly this, because this was gross, but similar to this in the future. So do the algorithm stuff if you want to know when this happens again. And yeah, I'll see you next time. Take care.